started this journal in the beginning of 2025, and I was not in a really good place then creatively. It was hard for me to paint on canvas, and I tried to substitute my painting with a lot of drawings. I used to work on loose paper, but I felt that I was going to make a lot of new sketches to try to find new inspiration. So I started a sketchbook, and you will see the beginning. The first few pages are, well, to me, really not that interesting. It's just me gathering the courage to start again, and but that's life, I guess, and that's also part of this sketchbook. So I'm gonna run through it with you and give some information where I can. This is an art creation sketchbook, which I really like because the paper is really firm and can handle a lot of materials. And I use a Paper Republic cover. I don't know if you can see it, it's not really that clear, but you can see it has, well, already been used quite a lot, and it has been a little damaged, but I like the used look, so that's not really a problem to me. This is the start, and I remember just trying all kinds of materials here. I remember using some gum to make aquarels in a little more straight lines. This is a kind of a rubber you can put on the paper, and then you can make an aquarel when it's dry, and you can erase the gum again. I used pencil, aquarel, the Neocolor aquarel, all kinds of things, just for me to try to get going again. I made collages here and there. I tested colors. Whatever I didn't like, I worked on top of again. These are exercises with pan pastel, the little discs with the loose powder, not the loose powder, the fixed powder that you can wipe onto the paper. This is everything at once. Exercises in movement in a page and composition. You will see sometimes I work across the two pages, but sometimes also just one page. When I look back at this, I really feel that this is me trying, not really having a go, just trying to be more certain of myself again, and just trying not to judge. Here also a combination with the pan pastel, which gives it like a soft flu look. I really like it. I think I gave it up a little later, but I think I should do it again. Here is a little more illustrative drawing, which I like, but I feel like in the end it's not really me. I tried some, I can show you a few things. I tried some illustration, but it's not it's too confined for me. I need to be completely free to try new things. Still exercises, color combinations, trying to work really minimal. I kind of like the minimal thing. It's just hard to keep it minimal. It's so hard not to continue working on a drawing or a painting, and to stop in the right moment. So this is quite alright. But I do know I had to fight the urge to continue to work on top of this. This I actually don't like. I don't know what this is, except for experiments. I think you will see later on in the sketchbook it's becoming a little more cohesive. This is just me fighting for my life, trying to become creative again. This I like because you feel the energy, the softness versus the harder lines of the new pastel and the pencil. I feel like there's a lot happening here, and that's ultimately always interesting to look at. Here I try to work with pencil and new colors of new art on watercolor backgrounds. I think it's still interesting because I started to use both lines and more filled surfaces in the drawings, and not only the lines. Like here it's mostly lines I use on top of it, and here I start to use like bigger surfaces, and I think it works for these pages. So just you see I've made a drawing here and I really didn't like it, so I painted on top and then I pasted something else on top. It just must be I really didn't like it, because I don't like this either, but in the end this is what I show you. If I paint over it, it's a sign that I really don't want people to see it, so it's a bad sign. This I like quite a lot, especially because the colors are becoming a little bit brighter than I'm used to. And also the combination with watercolor, new art, pencils and collage on top is a combination that really works and makes the pages quite interesting. Here I used acrylics on top of the watercolor. I remember I made this drawing on the plane to Budapest in July. I just took inspiration from the card in the seat in front of you to show you how you should tuck your head in case of an emergency. And then I made this drawing because I didn't know where to start. I was getting more in the habit of drawing, but it still took some effort, and it was still hard to know where I should start or what I should draw. It's hard to explain, but I always, or maybe 90% of the time, I work from a human figure. I start from a human figure. It's difficult to explain, but in my mind, when I start a drawing, I always have like a figure in a certain position. And as I work more, I try to leave the figure behind and try to work from an emotion, or try to see what a page asks of me to do next. Here it's more clear that I work from human bodies. This is one of my favorites of last year. And when I make a drawing that I'm really happy with, it's a little sad to me that I don't make it on a loose sheet of paper. So it's an entity on its own, but well, that's what happens in a sketchbook. You make a lot of bad stuff, and then the things you like are also included, so it's just what it is. I really like this one. This is kind of Louise Bourgeois inspired drawing, painting mixture. Here I worked on top of it with gouache. I think 2 separate layers. Also, this one was one of my favorites. I think they really fit together in a way, even when the colors are different. The balance between the shape and the figurative shape and the abstract shape is like balanced. I don't know how to explain it any differently. If you have questions, just ask me. I will try to respond to everything. These feel kind of unfinished to me, but I don't know. I never figured out what they needed more, so I didn't continue anymore. They feel kind of unfinished. This is definitely unfinished. This is just the background, but still interesting. I tried new colors. This is like not a usual color combination for my drawings. Still like the background. Never worked on it. I try to just create without judging, so I find this one very aggressive at this point. I like it, but it's not what I want to make in the end. It's more figurative. It's just exercises. That's in the end. That's what a sketchbook is. It's full of exercises, and if you can't be free in your sketchbook, I don't know how you will ever be free on a canvas, or if you cannot just experiment without judging what you're doing, it's just no use. You cannot have a sketchbook when you expect every page to be amazing. That's not what it's for. There are people who succeed in that, and I'm very happy for them, but for me a sketchbook is really like pushing my boundaries and trying new stuff and figuring out what doesn't work, and sometimes finding what does work. I like this one a lot as well. I really like a balance between like abstract shapes that are difficult to understand, and then shapes that are recognizable from the human figure. I think it gives a fragility to the human body. The deconstruction to abstraction is feeling like I express the vulnerability in a human body and in a human person, in fact. This I don't like. I do like this better. But here I see that in the second half of the sketchbook I find more balance in some works. Not every work, but I find more this kind of balance in my drawings. Even in this one, which is different, but I still feel like there's some lightness, still a shape that is familiar, not recognizable, but familiar, and it's alive. That's what I'm looking for. These I don't like. This is, well, I can't explain. I like it a lot. It's more like an abstract illustration feel to it, but I like it a lot. It's just, I don't know what I have to do with it. I don't know if I will continue to do exercises in this way. Here I'm back on track with my own things, kind of drawings. Just an experiment again. experiments. Shouldn't be ashamed to experiment, you know, you shouldn't be ashamed to make things that are not as nice as you would want them to. And I feel like in the end of the year, I succeeded more in like better drawings. I do feel that continuing this sketchbook has made me progress again. I wasn't able to make this kind of thing in the beginning of the year. Well, I wasn't able anymore because I quit painting I didn't actively quit painting, but I almost didn't paint for like 2 years or something. So sometimes I feel like doing something figurative. This as well. This one I love. I don't know what happened, but I feel like for a work with only watercolors and just a fine line of pencil, I think this really works. I wish I could do this in paintings as well. Maybe I'll take it as an inspiration to make a new painting later. I don't know. Should do something with this. This I like as well, but it's illustrative, so that's my thing. I think when I'm really tired, it's easier for me to do realistic or more figurative work. I like the balance in this page, in this double page. Here I tried some minimalistic drawings, which I like in their simplicity, so I'm really happy with these. Here I combined acrylics and the Neo Art crayons. I like to work with acrylics in my sketchbook as well. You have to be careful that it doesn't stick together, but it's interesting because it gives a certain force to your sketchbook that you can't have with like the softer materials. Here as well. Definitely here, just a little too much force for my taste, but still interesting as an exercise. And in this moment I bought a really nice anatomical sketchbook, inspiration book. This one, Morpho. And I think it has a lot of interesting poses to exercise your anatomical poses, your real-life drawings. But I do try to, if I take inspiration from an anatomical drawing, I do try to make my own thing out of it. So not just follow it blindly, but still having my abstract elements in them. Here as well. It's not anatomically correct, but it's inspired by. I like this one a lot. This one as well. Sometimes I can't explain how it comes to life. It's just I make several of these in one night, and I can do. These are to me 3 totally different drawings, and I did them in one night. I can't explain why I don't just keep drawing one style. Just all interesting to me, and what I can do with everything. And that's the last one for now. I tried to add one more and I didn't like it completely, so I painted over it. I don't know if I will still change it or not. And I only have a few pages left in my sketchbook, so I think I'm going to fill it up in the coming weeks. I haven't done this a lot, so I hope you liked the video. Please ask all your questions in the comments if you have any. And definitely tell me if you want to see more of these videos. Thank you for being here. Bye.